Today we're going to talk about HHT EPA fireplaces. This particular fireplace is a 7100. We're specifically going to talk about the controls and how to operate your fireplace. So let's get started. Don't forget, as always, the owner's manual, operation and care. This is where you can find additional information as necessary. First, I'd like to take a moment and point out the particular controls that we're going to talk about. First, on the side over here on the right hand side is your outside air control handle. It must be opened during operation. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a bit. Number two is your ACC control. This control moves back and forth to adjust your combustion air, and this is an override lever, which again we will talk about. Auxiliary convection air lever, and that's it. As far as getting started, let's do it. This is the outside air control knob. Outside air is required when burning the fireplace. Anytime you have combustion taking place in the fireplace, this knob must be open. This is in the closed position, so to get started, turn it to the right. That brings in fresh air to the fire. Anytime you're burning it, again, this needs to be in the open position. When the fire's cooled down, you're no longer burning it at all the coals are out, and you're not going to have a fire, feel free to close it. That'll stop cold air from coming into the fireplace when it's not in use. Now we're going to move to the ACC, or automatic combustion control. These two controls, this knob and this little lever, control your ACC, your automatic combustion control. They bring in air for your fire. Right now this lever is pushed to the left. That means it's set to burn on low. To the right is open, so you have a higher fire. Clear over all the way to the right sets the ACC timer, and again we'll spend a little time on that. The ACC control allows you to set the fireplace on high. So to start your fire, take the knob, pull it all the way to the right, and then move it back to your set point. The timer will time down. This lever will slowly move to the left, shutting off your start air. If by accident, or if you don't intend to, move this lever clear to the right and restart your ACC timer, you can cancel this by pushing this lever back to the left. That's perfectly okay. Once your fire's established, this is your burn rate control. All the way to the left is low, to the right till it stops against this other little lever is high. So high, low, high. If by chance you want to get a bigger fire and you pull it all the way to the right, resetting your start timer, that's okay. Move the lever back and cancel your start timer by pushing the little lever to the left. Use caution when adjusting this. This can be hot. So when moving all the way to the right and setting your start timer, moving this back to the left, that may take a little time fiddling with on your part to figure out where you want to have that set. This will tick down over time and shut off. If by chance you pull this all the way to the right to set it and forget to set your burn rate, it's okay. This will time down and move your lever over to the left and adjust it itself. You still have to make some adjustment possibly to get it to where you want it to be. That's part of burning wood. If your EPA fireplace does not have the auxiliary convection control, disregard this feature information. Lastly, the auxiliary convection air system. This lever here allows you to bring air in from an auxiliary convection air duct if installed with your fireplace at the time of installation. If it was installed, moving it to the right will bring air in through the duct. Moving it to the left will cause air to be pulled in through the bottom grill, through the fan, and out through the top of the fireplace. If an auxiliary convection air duct was not installed at the time when your fireplace was installed, simply leave it alone. It has no effect or no control. Leave it in the locked position. There's a screw locking it in place. Please just leave it alone. Your fireplace is equipped with a temperature-sensitive snap disc that will turn the convection fan on and off automatically depending on the temperature of the fireplace. We suggest for initial startup, a cold start, that you leave the fan off until the fireplace is hot and a good coal bed is established, approximately 30 minutes after you light the fuel. The controls include an override switch. When the override switch is in the off position, the fan operation is controlled by the snap disc. The speed of the fan can be regulated by the speed knob. The speed of the fan is always set by you using the fan speed control dial. It has an off position, as shown currently, clicks on, which will be high, and rotates to low, and everywhere in between. To turn it off, turn it off. This speed knob also is controlled by the temperature-sensitive snap disc. It turns it on and off due to the temperature of the fire. Simply set it and leave it alone. If your blower is not coming on as desired, you may turn it on with the override switch. Simply turn it on, and this bypasses the temperature-sensitive snap disc. When you're done, no longer desired, you may turn off your blower with the switch. This still stays active via the temperature-sensitive snap disc. Before lighting your first fire, make sure the baffle board is in contact with the manifold at the back of the firebox. The ceramic blanket should lay on top of the baffle board and manifold. The baffle protection channel should be in position and cover the front of the blanket and baffle board. Do not use grates, andirons, or other methods to support the fuel. There are many ways to build a fire. The basic principle is to light easily ignitable tinder or paper, which ignites the fast-burning kindling, which in turn ignites the slow-burning firewood. Here is one method that works well. To start the fire, make sure your outside air is open. Now it's open. Also, move the ACC control all the way to the right, setting your ACC timer. This is where the air comes into the fireplace. There's a little hole right here. So it's important to take your first firewood when starting a fire and place it front to back. Newspaper between the two pieces of wood, kindling on top of that, and a cross pattern like so. Another piece of newspaper on top to warm the flue. Light your top piece of paper and continue to light the paper under your kindling. You may need to keep the door cracked a little while the fire gets started. After a few minutes, close and latch your door. Stack the pieces of wood 1/2 to 1 inch apart. You want them near enough to each other to catch and get hot, but far enough away from each other to allow air to flow between them. Now close and fully latch your door. Once the fire and coal bed have been established, your appliance is ready to accept the full load of wood and be controlled by the ACC. During your first fire, you may notice some odors and vapors coming from the unit. This is normal curing of the high temperature paint. Open windows for air circulation during this curing process.